What's going on, everyone? Andrew here with TRP Exclusive. It's been a minute since we've uploaded on this channel, but I did want to return because there was a recent article posted on Runner's World that I just have to take a closer look at. And it honestly is quite confusing because the title is Noah Lyles is officially racing Tyreek Hill, and it also follows this by saying, it's a huge mistake. Now, I'll make sure to link this article down below so you can take a closer look at it. But to put it simply, if you haven't heard already, Noah Lyles is set to race the NFL great Tyreek Hill in a short sprint race sometime in 2025. And this kind of race was honestly a long time coming. Assuming that it does happen, both Noah and Tyreek have had a decent amount of back and forth online, most recently with Noah Lyles writing that Tyreek could never on the back of his racing bib after this year's Boston Indoor Grand Prix, and this seemed to be the final straw for Tyreek, as he has reportedly signed up to race Noah in some undisclosed racing distance, but if I had to guess, it will be over the 60 meters, if not the 40-yard dash, and in pretty much everyone's mind, Noah is going to take this victory. Noah is the Olympic champion, he's one of the fastest athletes of all time in the 60, the 100, and the 200, and he's also significantly younger than Tyreek Hill, who's about to turn 31, and he hasn't really trained specifically for sprinting in close to a decade now. Now, there's many different ways that you can review a race like this, but according to Runner's World, they are seeing this as just a lose-lose across the board, and there's three primary reasons why they're saying this. Now, the first scenario is that Lyles wins comfortably, and the writer claims that this will result in many people saying, of course he won. He's the Olympic champion, it would have been embarrassing if he didn't. Possibility number two, Lyles wins, but the race is close, to which many will reply, how does Noah almost get beat by someone who doesn't even run track? And the third, albeit the most unlikely scenario, Hill wins by any amount, which will result in people saying Noah is a fraud, track runners aren't real athletes. Now, I just want to say first and foremost that saying that this is a huge mistake is already a little bit of an exaggeration. I think that worst case scenario, if Lyles does in fact lose, we're just going to get more eyeballs on the sport. In pretty much every single one of these scenarios, I think there is a possibility that more and more athletes are going to be drawn to this kind of racing, more eyeballs are going to be put on the sport, and this is one of those things that is transcending the sport itself. I don't want to hate on this take, but it just seems like a classic track and field stuck moment where people are just afraid to try out new things. I think Noah has been constantly trying to push the boundaries of track and field and transcend the sport by getting involved in, say, fashion, and also by getting involved in just different kind of racing moments, and to claim that this is a huge mistake, I think is a huge exaggeration. If you've been paying attention to track recently, you've probably noticed a few new things happening. There have been very famous online people such as iShowSpeed, who has raced Lyles, and that generated a lot of traction. And no matter which way you look at this was solid publicity. Yes, some people thought that iShowSpeed stayed quite close to Lyles when that really wasn't the case, but I don't think this is a negative whatsoever. Noah brought new names to the sport, Noah's trying to push the sport into new barriers, and to have people saying that this was a net negative is just such an archaic approach to how track and field should be pushing into the new generation. Personally, I see this race as kind of a springboard. We're going to get a famous person from another very popular sport racing against Noah Lyles. And no matter what your opinion is on Tyreek, as he does have, let's just say, an interesting background, this will bring more eyeballs to the sport. Now, it's also important to mention that just after this title, the writer puts that the Olympic champion has nothing to gain and everything to lose. And again, this just feels like an exaggeration. Even if he somehow loses against Tyreek, which just seems next to impossible, more fans will tune in to watch, and Noah will likely go on to run very, very good times in both the 100 and the 200 meters. But again, this is such an unlikely scenario that it just seems like a forced opinion. Also, to say that Noah has nothing to gain is also pretty strange. If he wins this race and brings more eyeballs to the sport, there potentially could be millions of new fans to go to the sport, and who knows, potentially more sponsors could come to Noah, could come to track. This could be the bridge between a huge sport such as American football and track and field. Anyways, I'm not going to waste my headspace more on this article. Again, it's linked down below if you want to watch it, but in the meantime, I would love to hear your thoughts on this race itself. I would love to hear your thoughts on this Runner's World article. And yeah, that's about it, so thanks for watching.